My parents immigrated from Egypt to the US to give my sisters and I a better life. My mother washed dishes in a cafeteria. My father drove taxis. Money was tight, but they saved every penny they could for me to go to college. I'm Sarah Gadd, an activist, an educator, a third-year law student at the University of Chicago, and a former inmate at the Cook County Jail. Law and politics weren't part of the plan. In 2011, I was in a serious car accident. I woke up in a hospital with multiple broken bones and an excruciating pain. My doctors prescribed opioids, but the addictive potential wasn't discussed. I learned the hard way that addiction can happen to anyone. In 2 years, my addiction took me from a classroom at a top medical school to a cell in one of the worst jails in the country. In 2013, I was arrested for a false prescription. Though I was a nonviolent offender, I was placed in maximum security because of overcrowding. I was sexually assaulted, beaten, stabbed, and denied medical care for my injuries, all with the complicity of the correctional officers. After jail, the punishment wasn't over. The stigma of having been incarcerated had become a barrier to employment, housing, and even respect. Even with a college degree, I could only find work at a convenience store, making minimum wage. I could barely afford a roof over my head or basic living expenses. Healthcare was out of the question. I couldn't grasp that a person could be discriminated against for life for a past mistake, be criminalized for a disease, or that correctional officers could abuse the very people they're supposed to protect and not be held accountable. That's when law and politics became part of the plan. I want to use law and policy to change society for the better, to empower those who've made mistakes to keep pushing forward, and ensure that those who harm us are held accountable, regardless of the uniform. I'm running for Congress because I envision an America where education is valued over throwing people in cages, where second chances are the norm, not the exception, where the disease of addiction is treated as a public health issue, not a crime, and where education and healthcare are basic rights. As Congresswoman, I will fight for real criminal justice reform, ending gun violence, a $15 wage, and ending healthcare injustice. I will support our students and teachers, stand by our veterans, protect our senior citizens, and make sure that no one is left behind. My journey has prepared me to be the next Illinois 1st District Democratic Congresswoman. I envision a 1st District that is moving, doing, pushing, trying. A strong 1st District that is welcoming and forgiving, where everyone has a chance, and a second one if they need it. I'm Sarah Gadd. I approve this message.